Alright guys, got a bunch of blades back from Heat Treat. So what I like to do is basically take them from this blue and heated state and just throw them on the grinder. And what I do with the grinder is I use a Scotch-Brite just to get all the slag off of it and try to straighten it out again and try to reprofile it. And you'll see a lot of stuff here that's like, you really can't get into that ricasso, and that type of stuff you have to do by hand. Just the way it is. And I got quite a bit of blades that I have to go through, so I'm just gonna get on it and hopefully, I can get these two to today, at least get them into a sanded finish, and then put some handles on it.
Magnet.
Alright guys, a couple things. So what I did is I take the Scotch belt off, and I'll run like 180 belt. It's a ceramic belt, and what I'll start to do is straighten out the profile, straighten out the spine, because I notice what a lot of guys do is they'll get on the belt sander and they'll sand, and then they might hollow out too much of this and then leave this thick and leave this thick. So what I do is try to straighten it out as much as possible. Now on the Grizzly, it's pretty much one speed. There's only so much I can do with it. But on this one, on the KMG, I could do a little bit more. And what I try to do is straighten out the profile with the Grizzly, because it's a one big, badass machine. Just slap it on there. I am using, I don't know if you saw these before. These are the magnet source. You can buy these. This is a 100-pound lift capacity. It's for industrial use. I have two of them. They weren't that bad, but I like that it has a hook on it. Connects up to it pretty tightly. You can buy these on Amazon. They're not that expensive. You don't need a 100-pound test, but I like 100 pounds because depending on the type of steel I'm working with, and if I need to, I can use two of them on a big blade and have more handle flexibility. Okay, don't always use it, but when I need it, it's perfect. So what I'll do now is, now that I'm starting to get a lot of the flat out, okay, you could see that it's a little rough here, and I haven't even gone to the hand sanding. What I want to do is I want to start working on the other pieces, on the other bevels, at a very low speed. Anything I could do on a machine will speed up this process 100 times faster. It's less of me going like this 1,000 times for 1,000 knives. I don't mind the workout, don't get me wrong, it's a good workout, and you will need to do that for a finish, but if I could blaze through the rough part with my machines, then that's what I'm going to do. So I went from a Scotch-Brite belt to get all the slack off, just so I could see the blade. Then I went through a 180 grit belt, and then now I'm going to a 220 belt, or you could still do 180, it doesn't really matter, but the variable speed works very well. The other thing that I wanted to show you, which is a new addition, is I added a felt piece to my platen. I just basically bought a big piece. It's this is 3/8 thick. Yeah, you can get 1/4. You don't have to get 3/8. It's industrial felt. I got it from Amazon. You can get it at any craft store. It's just a rollout sheet. I'll show you what it looks like. It's really cheap. Okay, it's really cheap. It's made for like installations and stuff like that. And you could use it for arts and crafts or whatever. But you get it in a sheet like this. Cut it to size, and then what I do is use a little spray adhesive. Let it dry up, put it on this, and then it gives me a nice, solid, but cushiony platform. Then now, if I want to press a little bit on it, it's not going to mess it up too bad. All right, and that's what I want, because just having a solid steel platen is good for grinding and other aspects, but now I have a little cushion on it. I can go really, really slow, you know, and basically just try to get the angles I want, you know. Clean this blade up really nice, and all I'm really trying to do is get the bevels to work correctly, and trying to get all the grinds going in one spot, one place. And it takes time. This is not something that you can, you know, just, hey, I'm just going to go down and knock it out in one shot. It doesn't work that way. It takes time to do. It takes time to master. And this is not the only way of doing this, guys. It really isn't. A lot of guys don't even go with the lengthwise. They don't want to go lengthwise, you know. And I understand that, you know. I think on small knives it doesn't really matter, but on bigger knives it does. There is no benefit other than aesthetics. I think one person said that if you see how it's starting to look already? It's starting to look a lot better than this side. You can see that. Starting to blend everything in. I think what somebody said is, before heat treat, if you have your grain going in the lengthwise pattern, it helps for so it doesn't twist as much. So when you do the heat treat, it doesn't twist as much. But again, I think it's mostly for aesthetics. In my opinion, I like the way it looks on larger blades. Small blades, I really don't care. And I have done blades that go straight this way, but I think when you get the long pattern on there, it looks really, really nice. So I'm going to keep knocking these blades out and see where I get to. Alright guys, so I finally got down to hand sanding. I don't know if you can see, there's a couple of lines here and there. I just wanted to clean it off. Alright, this is just one of the ones that I got. I got down to as far as machine as I can, and of course this ricasso is always going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. But as long as the blade is straight, okay, that's what we're looking for. And you know, this is what we're going to take care of, this all the way back. And it's unfortunate, but what you have to do is when you do hand sanding, you could use square paper, you can use whatever you want. I use the belts. That's why I don't really throw out too many belts. I do get to a point where they're completely unusable, which you can see here. This belt got caught up in something and got messed up. So this is a 60 grit belt. And what I'm going to do is, even though it's 60 grit, it's still pretty used. So it's about 100 grit now, maybe a little bit more, maybe 110, 120 belt. And I'm going to use that to restart all the scratch profiles and make sure I got it all the way down. And then when I get it all the way down to 220, then I'm done. All right, so I don't like putting mirror polish on there. You could do it, but I don't like to. What I did do also is I made sanding sticks. Sanding sticks is basically, I use the wood that they ship the steel in. I think Jantz is pretty good at this. This is like a 1x, I want to say 1x2. Yeah, it's a 1x2. And it's just really cheap pine wood. And all I did was I put my chop saw on a 45-degree angle. And what I'm going to do, I'll cut this. I'm going to get my trusty Victorinox, that's right. Alright, so then what you do is you cut a nice little slot in there like that. Alright, make sure it's nice and deep in there. Okay, I can get it in there. There you go. And then you bend it around like that. And now you got a nice long stick that you can work with. And of course you can cut it off and work with it here and there. And you know, as you're sanding, ideally you want to start like this. start working it around, and eventually you wind up this way. All right, I know it's hard to look at to keep putting sand grinds in there and all that other stuff, but you got to do what you got to do. All right, guys. So let me get this to work. Now you know why a lot of knife makers, they coat their blades. It's a lot easier than doing this. Alright, so that's a used 60 grit belt. Alright, that's one that it's not done yet. This side it's done. You can see that. Alright, so you can see. And I just take it down through the grits, go all the way through, make sure you're always fixing up here, keeping this straight, fixing up here, fixing all the other grits that need to be taken care of. Alright, I'll do like, you know, maybe 180 grit or something like that on top of this, because I don't really like to do high polish. So, you know, I like the grain structure. I like to see through the grain structure. It kind of looks badass in my opinion. So, and then I'll do like a Scotch-Brite on it just to smooth it out, and it'll look really nice. It took me 45 minutes to get it out like that. So now you know why blades cost so much, custom knife makers. 45 minutes from hand sanding, not to mention all the machine stuff I had to do. Alright guys, just wanted to give you guys a pretty sneak preview before I put the handles on. Basically, what I did was, as you see, I took all the, you know, this is like a before and after picture. I took all the stuff from heat treat, cleaned it all up, roughed it out, and then, you know, used different grits on different sanders to get the machine, you know, use the machine first to get all the big stuff out, and then after the big stuff comes out, then you can use your hand sanding. And I finished up here with I think it's 180 grit, so it's not yet to 220, but that's okay, because then you start shining the knife, and that's not what I want. I don't want to shine the knife. I want to keep it at a nice dull, you know, little how would you say, satin type of finish. It's in different lights right there, and you could see, you know, it's not mirror polished. I mean, I could work this thing into a mirror polish, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, you know, even out the scratches, make it look good, and, you know, use it as a regular work knife. So, so that's pretty much it. You can see I did 4 of them. I'm going to do, I have 4 more to do, but basically before the handles go on, that's pretty much what it looks like. I'm probably going to do maybe 1 more grit on top of that, just to finish it up after everything's done. So yeah, so you can see as a, so doing them long ways will put a nice sheen on there, and you know, it does help if you are going to do it, in the early stage. So do it prior to heat treat, because once it's heat treated, it makes it a little bit harder to do. But again, you know, I think it's personal preference, but I think it looks great. You know, so I hope this video helped.